You're listening to the Really Very Crunchy podcast with your hosts, Emily
and Jason. Emily, I don't trust doctors at all.
Just going in.
I don't trust my nephrologist. I don't trust my friend who's a doctor.
You don't trust?
I'm just kidding. I trust. Actually, I do trust him. He seems like a very stand-up guy. But all the other ones I don't know that well. I don't know. It's getting a little iffy out there.
It's not that I don't trust doctors, and I feel like that's a really bold statement of you to say.
Well,
Jason.
I just wanted to. I wanted to pull people in. I wanted to pull in the crowd because we have interesting things to say today, and it has to do with a certain doctor down the street from us, and to whom which we. What is the grammar there? To whom which we sent our child.
She
but
has
we'll get
technically only seen him once.
We'll get into that. We're not name dropping. Don't want to get sued for malpractice in our podcast. Podcast malpractice. You entertained in a bad way. That's slander.
Just wanted to say that we aren't medical professionals. We're just parents.
I am, and this is medical advice.
Technically.
Just kidding.
Technically,
You were an iridologist.
No. I was a certified nurse aide. So,
I meant you tested baby's hearing. Sorry. Which is not an iridologist.
It would be audiologist, would be the doctor version of that.
You were an audiologist.
Nope.
Wait.
I was
you weren't?
Infant hearing tester.
Same thing.
I was a professional.
So you're basically doing the 90%
in the medical field.
You're doing 90% of the work of an audiologist. They just come in like, "Yep, you were right.
It's actually
time to write them an antibiotic." What? We'll get into that.
It's a machine. It's a machine that does all the work.
Isn't it all one big machine, Emily? A big money-making machine.
I'm already tearing up, so that's a good sign, I guess.
Tearing up at the state of our medical system.
Okay, we were not the little quick debrief that we had before we started this podcast was not like I'm going to go in swinging and just spread hate.
You never know how I'm going to
the plan.
Hate. I love my doctor friends. I have one. I love him to death. He's great.
No, you have another one. She's my friend, so she's your friend by extension. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah. So, okay.
I wish you would leave her position and
friend.
Open different practice. Wait,
Crunchy practice?
Yeah, but she's an anesthesiologist. Are they technically doctors? Yeah, right?
Is she or is she a nurse anesthetist?
She's not. She's a...
What's the difference? They both are putting people to sleep. They're so boring. I don't know. No. Seems like a good job. Seems like a hard job. Seems like a hard job. Like, you got to get things just right. People are different sizes, different whatever. You're like, okay.
There's a chart with weight, kind of like ivermectin with,
Like, you can't talk about that. That's horse dewormer. That's not the medical. It's veterinarians.
But
those are the real doctors.
There's a chart.
They have to know every species.
That's what I always
and work
heard.
On everything.
Being
like, you have a pet centipede?
Harder.
I can help it. Really?
That's what I've always heard. That
it has 74 broken legs. I've got it. Put it on the table. The pet centipede. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't do invertebrates. I don't know how. I didn't get a specialty in exoskeletons.
Okay, anyway, today we were going to talk about a recent situation that occurred.
Wait, what if you had a veterinarian who only worked on invertebrates? Like, well, I'm sorry, does it have a central nervous system? Because I don't do that. I'm not that kind of veterinarian.
Surely there's someone out there with a specialty in that who...
It's a buggyologist. And he's really chill. He smokes pot all day, and he's just going, let's bug out, dude. Before
Jason,
he sees your...
We have children that listen to this podcast.
I'm sorry. Smokes ganja.
No. Okay, let's
Mary Jane.
To the script.
I didn't. I said that one invertebrate veterinarian does.
Okay.
It's not good. He should live in a state where it's legal.
He may. So we were going to talk about a situation that happened to us recently. It was a moment in our family where we had to make a decision about our child's health.
It was dire.
No.
But it wasn't.
So in general, we try to treat everything at home that we possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm the only other time that I can think of right now that we've had to use allopathic medicine.
What is allopathic medicine, Emily? I'm confused. Isn't that the little beads that you take under your tongue?
No, that's homeopathics.
Oh.
Allopathic is like Western medicine, just like modern medicine. Traditional, mainstream.
The bad guys.
No.
Oh, sorry.
No, I think there's definitely a place for
I'm
both.
joking.
I'm just saying.
I'm joking. I know. I'm sorry.
Our younger son, when he was like 8 months old, swallowed a stick, and
You're not homeopathicing that diagnosis.
So we didn't know what was going on, but he
stick the centipede down there and see if it'll eat the stick.
We didn't know what was going on. He just randomly started gagging and
spitting up.
Spitting up blood.
Yeah.
So, and it was like all so sudden. And so I freaked out and I was like, we gotta go right now.
And I was like, we're not going to a doctor. We're crunchy.
And I was like, no, we need to go.
No.
So then it was
I don't care if he's barfing up blood. We're not going to a doctor. No.
Was in the middle of COVID.
That's not
And we rushed to the ER because it felt very urgent.
What, the spitting up of the blood or his crying or inability to, swallow anything?
We didn't.
All of it.
We never, it was a very sudden. Anyway, they couldn't reach it with tweezers. Nobody actually knew what was going on. They were going to life flight us to.
Life flight.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I'm that's crazy. That you could imagine how much panic we had when they're like, we don't know what's going on with your son. There is something going on with his throat, because they thought maybe it was in his belly, like he's bleeding in his organs.
Gastrointestinal.
It's like, oh my goodness, we're going to have to life flight him to Vanderbilt.
What?
What? It's like one of those moments where your world comes crashing down.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I've never been in a helicopter and I'm afraid of heights, but here we go. It's not about me anymore.
You weren't even there.
I was there.
You weren't in the room when all this was going on.
I was, okay, well, they said it twice then. When I got, yes.
No.
Yes.
I was in there alone because...
was I dealing? Oh,
yeah, you were dealing with the other child, I think.
No,
and
his apple came and got him. I was there.
Were you?
Yes, I was there. It was some lady in the ER. She's like, "We're on the phone with Life Flight.
We're on the phone,
or whoever."
I guess I was gonna go.
I think it happened to you first. They told you first, and then you were calling me, and I was dealing with stuff, and then I came in, and they told us again.
Okay, whatever.
For effect. Like, the dad came in. We should tell him too dramatically. We're gonna have to life flight your child. She really wants to see everybody's reaction. She's some kind of likes torture and stuff.
Yeah, masochist.
I really want to see the pain.
But to other people?
Which one is it? When you're self...
Yeah, that's a masochist.
That's which one? And then there's one where you like hurting other people. Oh, it's called a doctor.
Stop!
I'm joking. Just have to say that.
Anyway,
I'm not a medical professional. I would never be. They're evil.
We're just trying. You're trying to cancel our podcast. You're trying. You're actively trying.
Well, if the cult wasn't going to do it, then this certainly won't. If you've joined our cult, you already know.
Okay.
It's this is called... I don't know if you know the category of our podcast. It's kids and family and comedy. I should take us out of the kids and family. I'm sorry.
I don't even know. I'm done talking. You just keep interrupting me, and
I did not interrupt you. I just enhanced the story. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Doctors are great.
I don't know if I was like, no, can we have a pediatric ENT come in? Because you have to advocate for yourself. Otherwise, I mean, people are just making all the decisions for you.
Yeah.
And we don't have insurance that's going to cover life flighting, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think our insurance covers.
We pay for something, but I'm not sure what.
Something, but it's not a lot.
I should look into that.
So no, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't cover that. So then,
and it'd only be like $40,000 to get a helicopter ride. So.
I was trying to say, like, could we take an ambulance? He's breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that would be any cheaper. Probably, right?
It's on the ground and there's traffic, so we're gonna up it to $45,000.
I do remember my brother hyperventilated at school once, and they couldn't get a hold of my mom. And the school was across the street from the hospital. Across the street. Mm-hmm. You can see them. They are, and it's not even a busy street.
Yeah.
2-lane, slow street. They called an ambulance and took him to the hospital in the ambulance without getting a hold of my mom.
Wow. How much was that bill?
So much.
Was it like in the thousands?
Yeah.
To move across the street.
To go across the street.
And well, they don't want to, the teachers in the school system don't want to get sued. They might trip over a baby turtle on the way and drop your brother into the one car traffic and then get sued for millions of dollars. So.
Okay, anyway, so I don't know whose idea it was to be like, no, we need to see a pediatric ENT. Our hospital doesn't have one. Huh. So they had to call in a doctor.
So we're going to need to get a private jet to go to Vanderbilt. Oh.
So this guy thankfully came in and used his little eye
monocle.
I mean, he had like this.
Put on a monocle and like, oh, I see what
like,
it is.
Hold him back, tilt his head. Like, who wasn't looking in the throat?
Yeah. What is it? An ear, nose, and throat doctor or whatever?
Yeah, ENT.
Oh, is that what that is? I thought that was like an
Jason,
EMT.
You have strong.
Well, what's an EMT?
That's an emergency
ear
medical technician.
Mitochondrial.
No.
Throat doctor?
You are awfully uneducated for having such strong opinions.
I 100% agree.
So, the ENT, you know what? This is a moment that you should be grateful that you don't know what all these
I don't actually hate doctors, right? I was leaning into the joke. I obviously have strong opinions about the medical system and I think there are various aspects that are extremely broken, and we could even talk about that. Well, we're going to get in that in a minute. But yeah, I'm very grateful that we have a medical system, particularly for emergencies. It was a joke. It was
a little heavy, a little strong. Came on a little strong.
I get it.
Okay.
I'm a little heavy.
Are we ever going to finish this story? The whole podcast wasn't even about this story. All I was saying is we've had to use it one time. One time this guy came in and he saw the stick.
And that we're very grateful that this guy who's been medically trained for decades came in and like, hey, I can figure out what's wrong with this boy.
I do like old doctors. They're like, what?
Some of them.
Yeah. I'm sure there's, yeah.
I've run into a couple who's kind of like, yeah, I'll just prescribe you this and see what happens. Like,
they're like so jaded to the situation they've lost their bedside manner. Like we met this one guy who was telling you he was a kidney doctor.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, I've pulled kidneys out of people bigger than a football.
Yeah, that felt great.
And you're like, okay.
Thanks for telling me what I'm facing. I have 2 footballs in my belly. Yeah, no, that was a wonderful experience. So much relief.
Yeah.
That was crazy. It was just a little piece of a Christmas decoration, like holly or something. Not holly.
It was just evergreen live. Yeah. Cedar.
Just a little
tiny
little cut on his throat. The blood was just like a little whatever.
Scratch.
That's crazy.
Anyway, that same child, it's our second child, Alder. He has been the one who's had more things. Mm-hmm. While we were on our big road trip, he got some weird random rashes, like in all the areas where his lymph nodes were.
Mm.
And
Oh, yeah.
I'd never seen that before.
Right.
But then like the next day he was better. So,
yeah.
But this time it was him. He came down in the middle of the night, got in our bed, and the next morning told me he thought he had a tick in his belly button, and that's why he came down. But he didn't tell me that in the middle of the night. So I checked his belly button, and I saw like a little scratch, but I couldn't see a tick or anything. And his belly button was red. And then it, like over the next 24 hours, spread really red and swollen. So, because I don't know much about rashes, haven't had a lot of rash experience, decided to take him in to see a pediatrician just to get their opinion. I think it's great to get an opinion on like what someone who sees this kind of stuff regularly.
Sure.
I tried to text a friend.
I mean, do you still feel that way though? The story continues.
I do try to text friends first, but
with your rash rendering relationship.
Yeah. One of my friends is married to a doctor, and so she's definitely gonna like give more medically driven, like wouldn't hurt to take him in.
Technically, we've utilized a doctor a little bit more than you'd think because...
No, not really.
Well, that one time Oaks fell off the top of the car and banged his head. He checked him out,
He
made
just
sure
looked
everything...
at it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's great to be friends with a doctor in a moment like that.
That is handy. I mean, he was right there. I probably wouldn't have taken him to their house or something, you know, but I have heard of stories like that. I have friends who have taken kids to their friend to get stitches because,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
you know,
I'm sure that's not annoying. Like, oh, man. I hate
Probably
being
kinda
everybody's
fun.
doctor. Well, is it? It's kind of like people asking me to, like, hey, can you want to come over and do a video? No.
most
I
people don't mind that kind of stuff. Like if somebody
Oh, it's
asked
just me. I'm the jerk.
If I had a skill,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of skill.
You do.
Hey, could you come act? Nobody's asked me that. What's
Crunchify
skill?
my home.
Yeah. No, nobody
Teach
wants
me
that.
to cook.
Nobody's asked me
Whole
that.
Meals. Well, because everybody thinks they can cook.
Maybe.
It's not. Some people just can't. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. I'm not asked a lot, but I do offer. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
I prefer to ask friends first. I feel like moms have seen a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, I reached out to this friend who's like, oh, let me send you to my midwife. And I'd have to pay her midwife to look, like, over the phone. You know, I'd rather just...
Well, you want somebody, especially something like that, especially if you're dealing with something that could be a tick that we couldn't find. You want to make sure we talk to somebody who can look at it up close.
Right.
And like, okay, I know exactly what this is. Don't worry. It's just a centipede bite. And so, like, here's some aspirin.
What?
Why would you do that, though? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school for doctoring. Anyway, so yeah, it makes sense. You take them in, especially for something that's on the surface. Like, what is this?
Yeah, what do you think? And so
Yeah.
she said it was a soft tissue infection. She wasn't worried that it was a tick bite or anything.
Right.
And immediately prescribed him. I mean, the interaction lasted 1 minute.
Mhm.
She looked at it less than a minute. Pushed on it. The first word she said
Pushed
to
on
me,
it for 3 minutes.
No. She just looked at it, pushed on it, said, if he were an infant, I would send him to the ER right now. So,
Wow.
like, that triggered a little something in me, like, okay, this is more serious. But I guess infants can't, I don't know.
Mhm.
If he were an infant, I would have been squirting breast milk on it right away.
Me
That's what I
too.
would have done. First thing.
I would have defrosted some of your breast milk and all over him.
I actually couldn't pump, so I don't really, never had some
No, I was just
frozen
saying
milk.
you're very cold. Just kidding. And then what happened?
What are you... Oh, so yeah, she was like, he needs to start an antibiotic today. Don't stop it early. It needs to go through the full course, even if it's
Which
looking
is like
better.
10 days or something?
Yeah, 10-day round of cephalexin. Not even...
Plus something else. There's 2 of them.
Amoxicillin, like double.
Double antibiotics.
What?
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Well, I mean, it's a soft tissue infection. You gotta.
So, I mean, this was just, we have very rarely been in this position
Mm-hmm.
where I felt unsure of myself and my abilities to treat something, you know?
Well, I think it's one of those situations where you just look at the doctor and it's like, okay, well, you know what you're talking about. You're the professional. You're the expert on this.
She sounded so sure that like, and it
Confident.
could turn into a staph infection or something like that. I'm like, does that even happen?
Yeah.
And like, I thought staph was an outside bacteria entering.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things don't just turn into staph infections, right? I mean, I could be wrong there. I don't know. I
Totally.
don't have a lot of experience there. So I was, kind of panicked, and I actually went and got it filled. And then I came home and I'm like, I don't want to give this to him.
Not to mention, why do all medicines for children have red dye?
Right. So I talked to the pharmacist and I was like, we don't do dyes. And can it be compounded without it? And I said, does it have dyes? And she sat there and gave me the most ridiculous look. And I'm like, I understand. I'm about to nuke my child's whole microbiome.
Honey,
It
these
doesn't
dyes are not
have
about
dyes.
to survive what he's going through.
Yeah.
So
So then she's like, oh, it looks like it has strawberry powder. And I was like, oh, so it's completely natural. I was probably like a little off-putting how.
Excuse me, do these strawberries, were they sprayed with glyphosate? Do you know?
One of the pharmacists.
Can you tell me the source of this strawberry
One
powder?
of the pharmacy techs was laughing at me because I was being ridiculous. Anyway,
I don't know. I feel like that's reasonable.
it was totally not strawberry powder coloring that stuff. She was not being honest with me.
You know, it's worse than doctors. Pharmacists.
So anyway, I came home and I was like, I don't want to give these to him. And his birthday was the next day.
Mm.
And I didn't want to
Happy birthday. Here's a destroyed gut microbiome.
So you were like, well, why don't you just wait a day, Emily? Just do what you usually do. So I was
You're a
putting
mother.
colloidal silver.
You've got intuition.
Garlic oil, oregano oil.
Garlic and honey.
I was making him, I rubbed his feet with garlic. Did everything I knew to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, it got progressively worse. It started on a Friday or Saturday, and I took him in on Monday, and it was getting progressively worse each day.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what the next day would bring. And the next day, after she prescribed it, and I did not give it to him, it looked a hair better.
Just a hair. Yeah, it was. I remember. You kind of had me come in and examine it every day. Like, will you look? I'm not quite sure. I'm like, yeah, it's fading. I think it's fading.
It looks a little better.
Yeah.
And then the next day, a hair better.
Just a hair.
But then by day 4, completely better.
Yeah.
So then I started getting a little bitter, a little annoyed. I got this better in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
He would still have 6 days of an antibiotic.
Mm-hmm.
2.
Right. Yeah. No, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And it was better. It was gone. We were good.
You some 4-year-old, never gone on antibiotics for stuff. And then she's just in 1 minute, let's nuke him. Yeah, let's just see what happens. You don't get it. As though, it's not good for you to take antibiotics. Obviously, antibiotics have a place in society.
They saved my life as a child. I had scarlet fever.
Yeah. And, did your mother rub garlic on your feet?
I don't think she knew about that hack back then.
Well, they've known about it for thousands of years. What were you doing?
Lots of people died of scarlet fever. I had a great aunt die of scarlet fever.
Yeah.
So
No,
There's
I'm not.
definitely a place.
My point is,
Yeah.
there's obviously a place. We're not anti-antibiotics. For if overall, if like completely, but it's like it should be used sparingly.
And this is a really like talked about topic in the crunchy community. Obviously, it's like a big thing, but I had just never experienced it. Like the immediate desire to prescribe that, just without really being sure.
Yeah, and I looked up, the doctor just to see what kind of kickbacks they get, because you can get, there's this open, there's this law that they're supposed to be open
This
about
is like the Sunshine Act or
something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that might be something different, actually. That might be for government. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, I couldn't find any. I get food. $100 a year in food, which I'm like, oh, I'd take that too.
Well, and it's not like they're actively like, yes, I will take that platter from cephalexin, but not that platter from.
Plus, I don't know how,
Claritin.
I could be wrong. I don't know how much kickbacks they get for antibiotics.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's more for these newer drugs, for like probably Ozempic and stuff like that. Is that a doctor, or is that just something do you have to get prescribed Ozempic?
Yeah, I think you have to get prescribed that. Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of kickbacks for that.
I don't know.
Really? Isn't it super expensive?
I don't know anything about it.
I don't either.
I really don't know anything about that.
I don't know. Well, I've heard it's
They
very
did not
expensive.
try to prescribe that to my 4-year-old when I took.
I
that.
would hope not. I was just saying, like, I don't think antibiotics, especially ones that have been around for years and years and years, are like a big kickback kind of thing. I just think what I think is going on is that doctors, a lot of times, it fixes a lot of things technically. I mean, I think it messes up a lot of things because, it does throw you off. It does mess up your gut microbiome. It does. I mean, it really does nuke your, what you've been growing. It's like a rainforest
Which
in
is
there,
also,
and you're burning it down.
And so that's directly linked to your immune system, which is then, affected in its ability to fight. So like once you start that,
it's hard to not keep going that direction.
But then when you keep going that direction, you're contributing to the issue of possible antibiotic resistance, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Like it just feels like we have to be so careful and we have to be so on guard. Like we have to be careful about advocating for our children and advocating for it, just being mindful of all that. And I know it's easy to say it when you're not in the position, but I was there and I was in it and I was scared. So how do you decide when to hold them and when to fold them?
You got to know. But here's what it was for me. Why I kept saying just wait a day. Because you have to look at your child or yourself or whoever you're advocating for. You have to look at your child and think, okay, he's not lethargic.
He's playing.
He's
no
playing.
Fever. No fever.
His appetite's fine.
Yeah.
No fever, like you just said. Everything is fine, other than he has this weird rash that looks slightly swollen.
It was more than slightly swollen.
It looked, I mean, it wasn't, but that means something different for everybody who's listening. But that means something different for different people. It's not like he had a giant
hernia
boil on his stomach. It's just like it was a rash and it was raised skin. Basically, it kind of looked like a hernia, but it's like not as bad as it could look, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but it was about like 4 inches in diameter.
Yeah. Well,
diameter.
Maybe he swallowed a large centipede. But the thing was, that's what I kind of thought. It's like, the kid's not sick at all. Let's see how he feels tomorrow. He's fine. It's slightly better. Let's see how he feels tomorrow. Again, he's fine. It's even better. And then it's gone, and he's fine. And it's like, why is that not the protocol for... And maybe some doctors out there would make that the protocol. Some doctors would say, well, let's give it 24 hours. I can prescribe you this antibiotic. If it's not better in 3 days, give it to him.
Sure.
But, like, that's not what's happening a lot of times. It's like, here's an antibiotic. Just make sure he gets through all 10 days of it.
You have to wonder if maybe it's because so many parents are just looking for a quick fix. And sometimes taking care of something at home, you can't expect it to just disappear.
Right.
It's going to take a little while. Your body has to heal naturally.
And don't forget the stuff that you did for him, too. Like, we can't discount.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like putting colloidal silver on it 3 times a day, making him sit there with garlic on his feet. Like,
I mean, and if those things work, and they are out there for a reason, these home remedies, they do work. There are antibacterial, antiviral, anti-whatever things that you can do at home. Look it up. It's in books. It's on the internet. Why isn't that a first step always? It's
people
available.
People don't believe in it.
But it is. And it might not be, it's not potent like an antibiotic. It's not going to destroy your microbiome. That's
some
the benefit.
people are pretty anti-garlic. Some people are anti-oregano oil. But like, it was olive oil that I steeped oregano in for a long time.
They think it disrupts the microbiome that badly? The natural?
Some I've just heard.
Surely it's not the same as a 10-day, 2-dose antibiotic.
I wouldn't think
I think
so.
it's like, I think that's doing a little bit, that's going a little too far.
Yeah.
Oh no, we would never do oregano. We're anti-big oregano oil. It's like, okay. Anti-garlic. Big garlic wants you to think that it's anti-whatever. Big garlic. I'll show you a big garlic. 28% of antibiotics prescribed in outpatient settings are not needed. And I actually think...
Do you think
I think
it's
a
that
higher
low?
number.
Yeah, that sounds low.
That's from the CDC, so take that as you will. I think it's probably higher, especially given our experience and how flippant it was and just like, just do it. I think it's higher because who's reporting that? That doctor thinks that that's necessary.
Right.
The patient thinks that that's necessary most of the time. So if that is true ever, which I'm sure it is almost always, it's not getting reported. I would say that number is probably 28% of antibiotics prescribed in outpatient settings are necessary. That's my guess. That's my guess. And I'm saying that as my guess. I don't know if that's true. I'm not a statistician and I haven't
I think that was a bold declaration.
An outpatient setting. We're not talking about in hospital where they're clearly sick and they're like spending lots of time with them in the
sure, this
intensive
is
care unit or something. Mm-hmm. This is, hey, I feel sick. Or my kid feels sick. What do I need to do? Here's an antibiotic. In that setting, I think that number's way higher because they're looking for a solution.
Technically necessary for treatment, but it could have been treated in a different way.
Or waited out sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, again, if it's a much more serious situation, it's not outpatient, right? Eventually.
Yeah.
I mean... At what point do they put you into the hospital for stuff that's like, oh, wow, you really need to get... Well, then, yeah, you got to take antibiotics because you're in the hospital and you're in an intensive care unit. And it's like, we don't give him antibiotics. He's not going to make it. It's like, well, then, yeah. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, my son has a rash on his belly. What do you think we should do? I think we should nuke him.
Yeah.
With antibiotics.
I learned that there is a strain, and I know that you can buy probiotics, and they have like billions of this and that, and so many different. But there's a specific strain. It's called like uterus, lactobacillus ruderus, or sorry if I'm not saying that right.
I'm impressed.
Once you take antibiotics one time, it's gone, and this strain of bacteria isn't found in
nature, just like...
No, it is found.
Like you can't just gain it.
Get it.
Right,
right. Yeah, and it's not something that's in probiotics that are sold commercially generally. Mm. So you have to like intentionally seek this one out
to get it back.
Yeah.
Isn't
that crazy?
What I mean, is there a benefit to it that we know of?
Well, it's in everyone's gut naturally occurring.
Yeah.
And then once you take those, it's gone. It's one of the ones that's like wiped out.
Yeah.
And then it's not commercially available.
Right.
Which feels weird if it was in there.
Well, we don't always know what things do.
I've got some in my fridge right now, so.
Do you really?
Yeah.
We should take it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to make more. You like make it into a yogurt or yogurt type thing. And
I wonder if it's like a superpower. Because, I mean, who hasn't? I mean, there's very few people that you know of
Adults,
who haven't
yeah.
taken an antibiotic at some
Mhm.
point that's living today. I mean, a
Right.
lot of kids, even when we were kids, you get an antibiotic.
I got them all the time.
Yeah,
I ended
loved
up
them.
getting
They're
my-
passing them out like candy.
I mean, I don't know
Here's
if I
your
got them all
Jolly
the time.
Rancher antibiotic.
I had a lot of issues with tonsils, and I don't know. Some people say there's like natural ways to deal with that, or maybe I was exposed to mold.
Oh,
or like there's
kids were getting their
certain things,
tonsils
even
out
just-
all the time when we were kids.
I heard somewhere even if you just swish with salt water on a daily basis, like because it's the shape of a tonsil is really like pitted, so bacteria and different things can hide in there, and it's easy for them to be inflamed. So just some like simple hygiene, like hygienic practices
should go a long way.
Yeah.
In taking care of them. In 2022, healthcare providers prescribed 236.4 million antibiotic prescriptions dispensed from U.S. Community pharmacies, roughly 7 prescriptions for every 10 people in the outpatient setting.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of dead gut microbiomes.
So when you were looking stuff up, did you find anything about antibiotic resistance and the issue there, or is that just a myth?
Yeah.
You didn't look that one up?
No.
You always hear that.
Yeah.
Like that's a worry then, that we're training
Yeah,
whatever they're
that's
killing to just mutate to be stronger to fight that.
It's not, overuse is obviously not good. I think an easy conclusion to come to, and I think most people, when they actually get into a conversation about it, could probably agree that easy, flippant use of antibiotics is probably not a good thing, no matter how you look at it. But my big question is, why aren't most doctors, particularly pediatricians, not thinking about that? Why is it that you run into doctors all the time where they just seem to, here's this remedy and it does work? Yeah, that remedy that she gave probably would have gotten rid of the rash. Is it
technically called a remedy?
I don't know. Is it not? Is that not a remedy? Okay, well, that fix that the doctor had,
I feel like that was confusing.
What do you mean?
Yeah, because you use the word remedy and like a natural.
No, I'm saying that doctor has her idea of what will fix the situation.
Right. And it probably would have.
And it probably would have, technically. Why aren't we taking, as a society, why aren't doctors in general looking at a more holistic approach like diet, like natural ways of treating a bacteria that first? And I don't want to say because money. That feels so cynical. But part of it, and that's not the answer, I don't think, for a lot of doctors. I honestly think for a lot of doctors, we have been taught this is how you fix the problem. This is what the problem is. This is how you fix the problem. So this is what I'm going to give you because this is how I know and how I've been trained to fix the problem. And that is a little backwards to me, or not backwards so much as incomplete. It's not very complete to me. I think the complete version of that is, let's look at it from a holistic approach. Let's look at it from diet, from all of it, and then go to the extremes next. But doctors don't, number one, I don't think they're trained to do that. Number two, I don't think they have time to do that. They have patients coming in. There aren't enough doctors for all the patients coming in for every rash. They can't sit there and just think about a kid for an hour and discover, maybe try this and this. And I think there are doctors out there that do that, but they probably only have like 10 patients because they can't go through that many kids.
A lot of people say nowadays, if you're looking to kind of have an approach more like that, then you should be taking your kids to a family doctor versus a pediatrician, which, I mean, that's sort of a hot topic too.
Because
a little
they know
controversial.
your kids better, or?
No, because they're not necessarily just like an assembly line, just
Gotcha.
so many. Like they have fewer patients and can take more time to think about your child as a whole.
Right.
And it's just not so like quick to treat. And I think sometimes pediatricians probably see the same thing over and over.
Sure.
And like it worked this time, so let's just like mass apply that despite the differences in children.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair to the doctor that we had, she may legitimately have thought it was something very serious. She really could have. Whatever. The truth is,
but the thing is, I was so hesitant in the office, and I was like, I don't know. Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, obviously, you don't know me because I don't come in.
Right.
But I don't like that.
Yeah.
I do take my kids in once a year for like their, I think there's some value there, like feeling
it's kind
whatever.
of an assessment.
There's also a paper trail and so, but I don't have like a good relationship, not like a consistent person in the office. So, but one of the things that I have found to be like my greatest resource is Smart Medicine for a Healthier Child. It's a book. And I love that book. It's like A to Z, every problem you could possibly have. And it goes through...
I'll link in the description for it.
It goes through like what allopathic treatment would be, what homeopathic treatment would be, and what naturopathic treatment would be. So then you can get an idea and try out different things. So it gives you like which tinctures you could use. But then it also says like, a doctor would do this.
Yeah.
And these are the treatments, and it lays it out, and it's not biased.
Right.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I really love that book. It's been a huge help to me.
Yeah. It doesn't help so much on the rash that can't be quite determined.
It's hard.
Yeah. With the kid that's like perfectly fine otherwise. Yeah. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I did want to go back, just say I was meaning to just say that I don't think that the fault necessarily falls on the doctor themselves. That's why I'm not actually anti-doctor so much as I am kind of anti how our system is set up.
And parents
and the education.
For just wanting education and parents wanting a quick fix.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's been available to us for decades, these quick fixes, and we haven't really thought about the long-term effects of these quick fixes.
And if you look at our society as a whole, the general population is for instant gratification. I mean, look at our issues with overuse of screens and overuse of sugar and like just a quick hit that will fix the immediate.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, there's a lot of different issues too that just could be fixed through good nutrition, exercise, and you could make the argument too that doctors, they're not necessarily responsible for that. They have to fix what they can fix, and they can't just tell you. They can tell you go on a diet, get a better diet, and exercise. They do tell people to do that, but it's like, if you're not going to do it, well, okay. I mean, I have this medicine that'll help you.
Right.
And you can't really blame them for that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. There are shady doctors out there, but I think for the most part, it's just like, well, I have to fix this problem.
Yeah.
And this is all I can do because you're not willing to do anything else. And I think there are doctors who are like, go get on a treadmill, whatever you have to do.
I spoke with someone who had a friend who had, what was it? Liver failure or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And my friend was trying to convince her friend to make some diet changes and give up Diet Coke, give up all this
to
like
try
junk
that.
food.
Yeah.
And she was unwilling. Mm-hmm. Her friend was unwilling to make changes. But can you blame her either? Because our food has been created. It's been modified to be so addictive.
Yeah.
So people are literally addicted to the garbage in the food that they are eating, and it's made to be that way. So, like,
Yeah.
it's a whole thing.
It's a fight. Well, it's a fight to resist or to go against the main flow of society, whether it's food and exercise and everything else. That it's hard. It's hard. You have a McDonald's on every corner. It's so easy. It's fast. It's cheap. It tastes good, and it's like, why not?
And once you start introducing that, even if it's just occasionally, that alters your taste buds.
Yeah,
it's not fair.
Yeah,
it's not fair that it's such a fight.
Yeah, it puts people at a disadvantage. It puts doctors at a disadvantage unless, they stand to financially gain from a terrible system that wants people to be sick. But I don't think it's the doctors that are the problem. I think it's the overall system.
Yeah.
I think it's the overall system. And
the patients are to blame too.
Of course. People have to take agency over themselves to make themselves better. And I'm coming back to this, it's what I forced myself to do with my kidney stuff. Unfortunately, it's a genetic thing that I can't just change, but there are diet things that I can do to try to fix my kidney disease, potentially. And like, I'm of the mindset, well, I'm going to just do whatever the heck I can actually do, because there's no stopping it anyway. I mean, there is a prescription that would slow down the progression of cysts, but I'm not wanting to. First of all, my kidneys aren't in bad enough shape to take it yet, so I'm trying to see what this does for me. Anyway, I don't know. It's interesting.
So check out that book and share it with a friend.
Share it with a doctor. Give them a little bit of more reading.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe somebody messaged me and they said something about they don't know how I can be so good at keeping my mouth shut in real life. Like when people are doing things alternative to what I would choose, how do I not speak up?
Well, if it doesn't affect you.
Well, yeah, I think that, but then I'm also thinking, maybe it's good that some people are so passionate that they speak out, even at the cost of someone feeling a little embarrassed or...
Yeah.
Because I've learned that way. People have told me things and then, I feel that moment.
But that is also a horror story for you.
What?
That's actually so toxic. Your hands soap.
I get it. Like it is. But then I learn and I grow and I change. So
yeah, but you become that person. If you're that person that tells everybody all the terrible things they're doing, it's like, okay, well, you're the one that becomes the people nobody likes.
Yeah, what I replied is that if someone is curious enough, they can see the difference in our family and see what we're doing, and then they can ask.
Yeah.
And I can share then. But sometimes people are just struggling.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is hard. And how can someone be educated if they're never...
Hey, I've got an idea. You could start a social media platform
that teaches through comedy.
That
was never
and
our
you
intention,
start
actually.
A cult with it. And you sell T-shirts, which is still in the description because we have over 100 of them. I bought too many. Bought way too many.
We'll share it on our Instagram. It'll be great, Jason. It's going to be wonderful.
Still the only people buying our podcast listeners. And it's wonderful.
We appreciate you and love you.
No, I'm happy. It's just
thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, thanks again for hanging out with us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Sorry if you feel like anything we said was misinformation. If you like to be misinformed, leave a review on the podcast there. Just hit a little 5-star right there, and we'll thank you. We'll send you a medical kit. We won't, but my disclaimer here is that we are not medical professionals, and anything we said has nothing to do with you, so don't sue us. All right, leave a comment if you'd like to sue sue a podcaster.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.